You're listening to WCB Newsline Unleashed.
Is anybody besides me interested in electronics? I really want to know, because recently I was provided with a Snap Circuits FM radio kit. Now, I used to put these Radio Shack kits together when I was a kid that had spring terminals, that had a board with a bunch of components on it, and you would just connect them with the wires. And my dad recorded all the instructions for putting these kits together on tape, and he would number all the terminals on the kit with braille labeling tape, so I could just listen to the tape, and he would say take the red wire and hook it from terminal 14 to 38, and I would know that that was the left side of the speaker going to the primary coil of the transformer. And I'd done enough reading by then, and they came with these beautiful text instruction books that explained the projects and explained how they worked and taught you basic electronic principles along the way. Now, these Snap Circuit kits are a little bit different than that, because they just have pictures in the box. But I have a good friend who's here virtually. He's a fan of them, actually. He's pre-recorded. So I'll let him introduce himself here.
This is Frank Cuta.
And he has worked with Ira to come up with instructions for putting this kit together that I have been provided. And it's an FM radio made by Snap Circuits. You can purchase it on Amazon.com. And I thought maybe you could follow along with me while I attempt to put this together based on the instructions that I've received from Frank. And I have not even taken it out of the box yet. I've listened through these instructions one time. The instructions to put the whole radio together are about 10 minutes long. He claims I can do this in half an hour, but of course he's done it several times now, so we'll just see how close that is to the truth. And I am going to let him tell you about it, and then we'll go from there.
I'm recording the assembly instructions for the Snap Circuits Model 12 FM radio. In general, the Snap Circuits is a kit, a general purpose assembly kit for building electronic projects. It's available in a 100 project kit, a 300 project kit, a 500 project kit, and a 750 project kit. All of these are larger kits, or larger projects, and they come with a grid that's 10 by 7, that plastic pins that you snap the components onto. For this project, the grid is just a 7 by 5 grid, and but the pins are the same. All the components are standard components. They snap onto these pins. The grid is got 5 rows, A, B, C, D, and E, and 7 columns numbered 1 through 7. It might all be very simple, except that to conserve real estate, you build up by layer. So you first assemble a first layer of components, and then the second layer of components snap on top of those components, and then the third layer. And in the case of the FM radio kit, there's one component at level 4. Also, unlike the general kits, this project has many less components. There are only 6 major components, and then about a dozen interconnecting terminal strips. The terminal strips are like wires that connect the various snap-on terminals on the components to one another. The terminal strips are interchangeable in direction, and you can put them on left to right or right to left. They don't make any difference. The other components are all unique in terms of where their terminals are and what orientation is preferred, and I'll be describing that. One more word about the terminal strips. They come in 3 sizes. The longest is 3 terminals, and they're like wires, and the 3-terminal strip will connect between 2 points that are separated by 1 dot. They're basically making 3 dots on the grid. And it's used to connect any 2 points in a row or column that are that distance apart.
Now, Frank, I'm a little bit confused here. I don't think I'm going to understand that until I actually get to look at this thing, but I'm going to take your word for it. I assume that's for connecting 3 different components or places on the board together. So, yeah.
The 2-terminal strip is made for connecting 2 points that are just adjacent, either in a row or in a column. The 1-terminal strip is not a strip, it's a dot, and I'll be referring to it as a dot, and it's for changing levels. Because we have a multi-level project, say you're working on the 2nd level and you're putting a component down, it doesn't snap down nice unless both of the points you're snapping to are at the same level, and sometimes they won't be. One will be like it's still on the 1st level, and one will be on the 2nd level. In that case, you put in a level changing dot on the 1st level to bring it up to the 2nd level, so that when you snap the part down, it'll snap down nice. And there's 4 or 5 of those level changing dots that will be used in various places.
Right on. I think I'm going to stop him right there. In just a moment, we're going to see what we have to work with. And we're going to take this out of the box. As he stated, it's only 5 by 7. So the box is just, I'd say, 3 or 4 inches thick. And got it open. And I'm going to now say that we are starting this at
1:12 a.m.
1:12 in the morning. And we're going to try to go forward as quickly as we can. There is the plastic board with a bunch of holes in it and a bunch of dots or raised areas on it. And a little piece of paper and a plastic bag full of components. And that is the contents of this box. Put that aside. Now I'm going to examine this board, and I can see that it looks somewhat rectangular shape. I believe he said 5 rows and 7 columns, so I'm going to count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's correct. And going across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. And then there are holes. Interesting. In between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes, it would appear. Under each row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. 6. How many holes does it take to fill the Albert hole? there may be 5 rows of snaps, but to me it would appear there's only 4 rows of holes. Or 6 columns of holes. But the nice thing, as he says later in these instructions, is that everything is vertically or horizontally, where it can be a heck of a lot more complicated. Now I'm going to investigate the bag of parts. I believe the first thing that we're going to be dealing with is the battery compartment, and that's pretty big. So that was the first thing I was able to pull out. And then the next piece I'm going to need is called the tuner, and it's got a big long piece of wire wrapped around it. And from what I can tell, that is going to be the antenna for the radio. So I'll have that put aside and ready to go. And I see some holes on the back of it here that looks like it would be able to snap in here somewhere. So we're going to go back momentarily to the instructions, but I want to make sure I identify what these terminal strips are and have those out of the bag so that I'm not having to hunt for them. I'll get the speaker out too, because that's a nice big component. It's rectangular on the bottom with a round speaker. It kind of reminds me of the earpiece of an old-fashioned telephone. So, where are my terminal strips, Frank? I don't see them. I don't know if I know what they look like. Oh, they all are kind of snapped together here. And they are just little strips. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. They're plastic, and they're long in the middle with a round part on each end. And they're all the same length, pretty much. And then there's another ones in here that are a little bit longer that have 3 connectors, like he was saying. And there are 2 of those. So I'm going to put this bag aside over here. And put these things on my work surface. It's just nice knowing that I'm not going to have to solder this or use pliers, or working with electronic components can be very complicated, and an 8-year-old probably would have had this thing built by now, but I'm approaching it very cautiously, as you can tell. So let's just move forward and see what Frank's going to tell me to do next.
To get started, put the base grid down so that the the 5 rows are down the left side, and columns 1 through 7 are across the top. There's no preferred orientation. You can turn it 180 degrees and it's the same. So whichever way you pick, it's just a grid of pins, and it doesn't care.
Then I don't care either.
It could be more confusing if there were diagonal pieces, but there are actually no diagonal connections. Everything is straight across, vertical or horizontal. Let's start with the battery compartment. This is level 1. We're going to put it down here. The battery compartment, once you find it, it's pretty obvious. It's got places for 3 AA batteries in it. They will be vertical when the unit is in its correct configuration. And the terminals, the little terminal points that we'll be snapping things onto, should be going down the left side. With it in this orientation, you want to snap it down on the grid with the upper left terminal on B5. When it's mounted like this, it should pretty much come up to the right edge of the board, and B5, 6, 7 C5, 6, 7, and D5, 6, and 7 will all be covered by the battery compartment. In the future, I won't go into that much detail. It's just to give you a description of, how it works.
All right. So I'll take the battery compartment here, and I will do as he says. Put the batteries vertically on the left-hand side, and he said B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he said that the top hole on the bottom of this battery compartment is going to go in the number 5 slot. That is going to put it on the right-hand edge of the board. And a little nervous, but I'm going to snap this right in here. And there it is. It's right lined up on the right side of the board. And, fits perfectly. Beautiful. Okay, let's see where we're going from here.
In general, I'll describe placement in terms of the upper left connection point. So, I mean, the upper leftmost part of the component is B5, then the components, will be squared on the grid and extend to the right and below that point. Next, snap into place a 3-position terminal strip between A3 and A5. The next component is what I call the antenna and tuning module. It can be identified with the wire that's all wrapped all around it. So unwrap the wire, and the proper configuration for this component will be with the wire down at the bottom, facing you, basically. And this goes in this part will go down in a vertical orientation, and there'll be a row of 3 terminals down the right side when it's in the proper orientation. And there's 2 buttons, the push buttons on the unit, that are actually for operation. When we're operating it, the bottom button will reset it to the bottom of the band, and the top button will step through the various radio frequencies. I think it does kind of basically a search. This component goes in the very upper left corner of the board, so it'll be the top 2 will be A1 and A2.
I am going to first grab the 3-terminal strip that he mentioned and put it on here between A3 and A5. I think I'm understanding the grid concept here. I'm a little bit more confident. And there's only 2 of these connectors with 3 plugs on them, so I've got to unsnap them from each other because they're stacked. I've got to go up here to the top. The tuner's going to go on A1 and 2. So now I've just got to flip this little strip over, little plastic strip, so that the holes are lined up. A3, A4, A5. Slam this down, just sets right on there. And I've already got my tuner antenna deal out here, and I've unwrapped the wire because I'm curious. Where did you go, little thing? There's the speaker. There. Spread things out a little bit too far. So it's going to go vertically with the button on top and the holes. There's a bunch of holes underneath this, but the snap things are actually on the right hand side, and the wire is coming out of it facing down on the left hand side, it would appear. So I think he said that this would be in A1 and A2 for the top terminals, and that looks right. So I'm going to snap it right in here. We'll just keep moving forward, and we'll see if this radio ever turns on.
I don't know what to call this next component. I think it's probably an amplifier module. It has a square box on it, and 5 terminals, 3 down the left side, and 1 in the upper right, and 1 in the upper right, and 1 in the lower right, when it's in the proper configuration. And it will be installed in that configuration with the top of it on B3 and B4. That's Baker 3 and Baker 4.
There it is. Looking for something with a square box on top. Oh, that wasn't hard to find at all. Wondering if that box would contain the chip that powers the radio, the integrated circuit. I can't really see what the component looks like because it just looks like a piece of plastic with a box on top of it. How fun is that? It's not. But that's okay. And there are actually some dots on top of that, so I'm assuming that something might clip on over the top of it in another layer. It's kind of amazing how they've made these things to all work together, but I've completely forgotten where this is supposed to go, so I'm going back.
With the top of it on B3 and B4. That's Baker 3 and Baker 4.
The tuner's on the left covering up B1. And this is where it gets a little bit trickier because you can't always count the dots when you put something on top of them. But I remember that terminal strip started at A3, so B3 has got to be right below it. So he said the left side would be in B3, 4, and 5. That looks right. So I'm gonna plop it on here, and that the top one would go on B4. So it is now snapped on there. It looks sturdy. They don't always click or anything, but when it doesn't move and when everything looks like it's in the right place, it probably is. So this is right. This little amplifier thing is right next to the battery compartment. Moving on, I guess.
The last component, that major component on level 1, is the speaker. And it's installed at the bottom, and it will be clicked on to E2, 3, and 4 with the grill facing you.
Oh, this is a piece of cake here. E. So we've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay, sorry. It's kind of late at night. Losing my mind. And there it is. Beautiful thing. What do we got to do next, Frank?
I forgot to mention, but it's pretty obvious, the terminal strips come all snapped together in little bricks, which you have to snap apart before you can start assembly. And we're about finished with level 1, but we do have to put in one leveling dot at B2. So we're going to level 2.
Okay, and the dots, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 of these little dots that are all snapped together. But rather than taking a chance on losing them, I'm just leaving them snapped together until I need them. So I'm going to put this leveling dot on. B2 is still open right next to the tuner. And oh no, it kind of fell onto the board. but I was able to pick it up. I have a nice cloth down on my desk to hold everything here. It's actually a placemat. So B2, there's our dot. There we go. Moving on.
There are no components on level 2, only terminal strips. The last two components, major components that you have, will be on level 3. So you want to connect a 2-terminal strip between A5 and B5. That's Baker 5.
I don't want to get ahead of myself here, so I'm just going to do that right now. I've got 5 of these. So A5 to B5, I just unsnapped one off. B5 appears to be covered up by the battery compartment. Let's listen to that one more time. I knew something like this would happen. It is like a puzzle, you know? I think we're going to stop this recording and review where this battery compartment is supposed to go. It's possible that I placed it incorrectly. Well, after reviewing the instructions, the top left terminal of the battery compartment goes on B5, so I don't see a way to run a terminal strip between A5 and B5. I have one lifeline at 1:30 in the morning, and his name is Frank Cuta, so I believe I'm going to phone a friend. Call Frank Cuta, iPhone. So I do appear to be at a standstill here. I don't see that I have much of a choice. If he gave me bad directions here, I'm not gonna.
I'm sorry, the person you were trying to reach has a voicemail box that has not.
Feel bad about waking him up. All right, let's send him a message. Send a message to Frank Cuta, iPhone. Mr. Frank, this is Mr. Reginald. I seem to have a problem in that you're telling me to put a terminal strip from A5 to B5 to get to level 2. But the battery compartment is covering B5. What do I do? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Your message to Frank says, "This is Mr. Reginald. I seem to have a problem in that you're telling me to put a terminal strip from 85 to B5 to get to level 2. But the battery compartment is covering B5. What do I do? Ready to send it?"
Yes.
Okay, it's sent.
Well, I should go to bed now, but I got a few other things to do around here, so we'll just wait for a response. So, in discussing the battery compartment,
With it in this orientation, you want to snap it down on the grid with the upper left terminal on B5.
and I have figured it out, I believe. We're going to try. The battery compartment has some snaps on top of it, but they were in the wrong place, which means that I must have oriented the battery compartment incorrectly in the first place. The batteries were vertical, but the batteries themselves are supposed to go down the right side with the snaps on the left. So now I can take the terminal strip and connect it from vertically from A5 to B5. So you definitely got to put these components in right, and the snaps for the snaps to be in the right places so you can follow the instructions correctly. So I'm kind of glad he didn't answer, because I would have looked like a dork. And I I still think he's going to be laughing at me tomorrow when he gets that message.
Another 2-terminal strip between A4 and B4, that's Baker 4.
And let's see if that's going to work. Break off another 2-terminal strip from the stack. And I'll go A1 is covered by the tuner, A2, A3, A4, and B4. Now this actually works, but they're on level 1. However, that builds the level so that you can snap something to it. That was easy. What's next, Frank?
Another 2-terminal strip between A2 and A3.
I will never disbelieve you again, Frank. Now, what did he just say? Somebody tell me. A2 and A3, I believe, and those are open. I don't want to cause a short, so I will be checking that. But as you can see, it snapped right on there beautifully. So let's go back.
Terminal strip between A2 and A3.
All right, we got that.
A 3-terminal strip between C2 and E2.
Okay, hopefully I haven't misplaced my 3-terminal strip. This is the last one. E2 is going to be on top of the speaker. C2 is open, and it skips right over D2, so unless I was to put another dot there, there's no way for that to connect. Maybe it's not supposed to. Mine is not to reason why, it is only to connect. If I needed a dot on D2 so they could all three be connected together, I suppose he would have told me. So we'll just keep going.
A 2-terminal strip between D, that's dog 4, and E4. That should connect to the bottom part, should be on the right side of the speaker. Last thing on this second level is a leveling terminal dot on C3 and a leveling dot on D3 and a leveling dot on D5.
And that's going to take care of the rest of my dots. So C3, D3, and D5. I have to say them out loud or I'll forget. It's getting easier to find my way on this board though. It's a little bit like Braille. And I'm not that mechanical. So if this actually works, I am going to feel somewhat of a great sense of accomplishment, I'm afraid.
So we're on to level 3. The first component on level 3 is probably the most difficult one to install. It's the slide pot for volume control, and it's the only triangular piece. The proper orientation is with the longest side on the left and perfectly vertical, so that the pot will slide up and down vertically, not at an angle. And then there'll be a triangle, it comes to a point on the right, and that will click into the adjoining column. So, and it's a little difficult to get into position, but everything should be in place for it to go. You have to kind of wiggle it around, but it will only go on one way. The top connection will be on B2, that's Baker 2, that actually it's right on the leveling dot. The bottom connection will be on D2, that's Dog 2, and the right hand point will be over on another leveling dot, which is on C3.
This part is very easy to identify. It's just got a slide volume control, like he said, that slides vertically up and down. And if it's going to go on B2 and over to C2 for the triangle side, and you're just going to line it up vertically on the B row. There's 3 dots right here for it to slide right over. So, ooh, okay. Now that was A2. I got to take it down one to B2, but there's still 3 snaps right in the right place where they should be. Kind of makes me nervous, like I'm getting kind of high up in the air here on the 3rd level. I don't want to fall off and I don't want to break something. I never played with Legos as a kid or anything, you got to understand, but I hear 2 clicks, I hear 3 clicks, the knob's going right up and down, it's totally secure, went right on there. That really wasn't so bad, Frank. This is starting to look a little bit like a radio. It's got the antenna, the battery, the little amplifier box right here in the middle, volume control, and the tuning buttons. And I think the only thing we got left is the on and off switch for this thing. I gotta dig through and see if I can dig up some AA batteries. And it is battery, by the way, because that's spelled B-A-T-T-E-R-Y, battery. M-O-O-N, that spells battery. Okay, here we go.
So the last remaining component major is the on-off switch, and there's no way to know which way is on and which way is off, so you just have to put it on and try it, and if you don't like the configuration, pull it off, turn it around, put it on the other way. But it goes between D3 and D5, that's dog 3 and dog 5. The right-hand connection should come out right there at the lower right corner of the battery compartment.
Well, my little bag of parts is empty now. And I've got this thing that looks like a power switch. And I think I want the power switch to be at the bottom of the block of plastic, since it's not right in the middle. Okay, now the switch is at the bottom. It's right above the speaker. The speaker doesn't really get in the way. Nobody said it's necessarily supposed to be pretty. But to me it looks like it's all together here. I've got nope. Oh, it's a little scary. There's one terminal strip left. Oh no. Oh, I didn't do the one for the... Did I do the one for both sides of the speaker? Yeah. Yeah, because that's underneath. Why do I have a terminal strip left? Ah, help. Yeah, these terminal strips now are running underneath the things that I've put over the top of them. That is quite interesting. Let's to see if we're supposed to be done. I don't think I'm supposed to have anything left over. It's been quite the adventure.
And it can be a little tricky to get in there because it just perfectly fits back in there horizontally behind the speaker. Once you wiggle around and snap it down over those 3 points, it should fit perfectly. We are on to level 4. And there's only one component left. If you've done this correctly, you have a 2-terminal strip, and it connects between dog 2, D2, the bottom of the rheostat, and D3, dog 3, the left hand of the power switch.
And let's do that. I feel so much better, Frank. Oh, I'm getting silly. D2 and D3. Not D1. D2. I can connect between D1 and D2. Did I not move this? Okay, I gotta go back. Sorry guys. If you've listened this far, I'm hoping you're in for the duration.
We are on to level 4. And there's only one component left. If you've done this correctly, you have a 2-terminal strip, and it connects between dog 2, D2, the bottom of the rheostat, and D3, dog 3, the left hand of the power switch.
Okay. I think the level 4 might be the thing that was throwing me here. The rheostat is the volume pot, and there is a snap on top of that. I wasn't looking in the right place. Great instructions, Frank. It would help if I listened better. Now I've lost me bloody terminal strip. There it is. This is real, man. This is real. The struggle is real. Snapped right in there. Okay, you got any last words of wisdom for us?
You're ready to try it. Put in the batteries and put the power switch back and forth, and you should get a hiss or something. Hit the reset at the bottom button on the tuning unit. That will get you to the bottom of the band, and then you can start hitting the upper button to and of course if you don't hear anything, you've got the rheostat turned all the way down, so turn the volume pot up. Congratulations, you have the geekiest radio on the block. And if it doesn't work the first time, call me and I'll see if I can help you figure out what's wrong. 509-967-2658.
That's it. So, Frank at Cuta.net, and he means it. He will help you out, but we're not quite done yet. And actually, we should do a time check so we know how long this took me.
2:17 a.m.
2:17. I believe we started at 1:12. So just over an hour. I had a couple of touch and go moments there, but I'm fairly confident that it's going to work. Okay, so after much gnashing of teeth and everything else, I've been able to relocate 3 batteries without dismembering anything. So we're going to put these into the battery compartment. Negative goes against the spring. Most of you probably know that. And this is a nice accessible battery compartment that is marked the way that it's supposed to be. So I'm putting in the third one now. The switch is to the left right now. I'm going to push it to the right, see what happens. This part always makes me nervous. Well, we got something. I need to find the tuner over here. This is almost turned all the way down. Okay, I can turn it up. It's doing something. So now we'll do the I'm touching the little
That you might be the mother of the Messiah. You left the place of your exaltation.
It works.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Is it okay to interrupt the prayer? I'm trying to find the tuner buttons. Okay, so we went to the bottom of the band. I want to see if we can get NPR. That sounds good. Don't want to go much more than about a third of the way up. But it sounds really nice. I'm going to put this up in my lab. Maybe find a clear box to put it in. This is really cool. I don't care if it was simplified. I made a radio. And that's my project for the night. Goodbye to all.
This podcast was made in association with Washington Council of the Blind's Newsline publication. You can contact us at the WCBnewsline@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.
Credit for this production goes to podcast producer Zach Hertz, editors Heather Mears and Reginald George, and we'd like to extend a thank you to Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com for his use of the song Life of Riley. Thank you so much for listening, and tune in for our next episode or check out previous episodes. Thank you so much for listening. We would like to extend a thank you to the following artists: Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com, Brian Teo at FreePD.com, and Raphael Crux at FreePD.com. Alright, in order of listening: Hyper Fun, performed by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribute 3.0. The Celebrated Minuet by Raphael Crux at FreePD.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribute 3.0. The Maple Leaf Rag, performed by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribute 3.0. The Entertainer, Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribute 3.0. Slice of Life by Brian Teo, FreePD.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribute 3.0. Music Drop by Brian Teo at FreePD.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribute 3.0. Waka Waka by Brian Teo at FreePD.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribute 3.0. Winner by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribute 3.0. Sneaky Adventure by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribute 3.0. Celebrated Minuet, for piano. By Raphael Crux at freepd.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribute 3.0. Fretless by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribute 3.0. The Curtain Rises by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribute 3.0. Pamgia by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribute 3.0. Happy Whistling Ukulele by Raphael Crux, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribute 3.0. That is all the credits, and we really appreciate these artists for allowing us to use their music. Please go visit their websites and check them out. Thank you for listening.